Welcome to the Mitchell S. Karnes Podcast. I have my friend Sandy Grubbs here all the way from near Portland, Oregon to talk with us tonight. How are you doing?
Great. So I'm so happy to join you for your podcast. Thank you.
I absolutely loved your book, and I'm reading about your background, and I'm so impressed. You have Stanford and you have Berkeley uh, in different areas. It's like you elementary teaching, but you were doing English and French before.
English and French literature at Stanford. And by the time I decided I wanted to be a teacher, I realized Stanford didn't have an elementary school teaching program. So I just
Yeah.
finished my undergraduate degree there and then went to Berkeley to get my teaching credential.
How long did you teach?
No, it was a short career, about 3 years.
Okay. I taught English in the high school. So I did
Oh,
junior high and high school.
oh, that's
My career
wonderful.
also as a
Yeah.
pastor and a counselor. So I kind of
Oh,
pull from all that when I'm doing my writing. But uh,
yeah.
do you illustrate your own?
No, I don't have that skill set. No.
Because I saw where you were a member of the writers and illustrators for children. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you were both.
No, I know there are a few very talented people who can do both of those, but not me. So-
Well, this has been winning all kinds of awards, and it should. It's just a wonderful book.
Mm.
I'm sorry that you're squeezed in the middle grade only, because I think this is great for adults too. People like
Oh,
me
thank
who
you.
grew up on comic books and wanted to be that superhero, and always, but it's the kid in all of us. So,
Yeah.
what is it that about Click that you? I'll put that up there. Uh, you have tie in his comic book with his mysteries and his stories. So what was the origin of all that?
Yeah. Well, my husband and I have raised three sons, and I wanted to write a book, especially that boys would enjoy reading. But of course, I want girls to enjoy it too. So I put in some really strong girl,
Yeah, yeah, you did.
female characters as well. When I was a kid, I loved Superman and I wanted to work that in. So I decided to write a story about a boy who loves superheroes but doesn't have superpowers. So this is a contemporary book. It doesn't have fantasy elements in it. But what I hope kids take away is they'll realize that they really do have superpowers that they can use to change their world and their own make a difference in their own lives and the lives of others, which is what Nick ends up discovering by the end of the story.
Well, you did what all of us as authors want to do, is you left the reader at the end kind of groaning because you want to continue in the world. You don't want to
Oh,
leave
thank
his world.
you.
And so I got involved with him and with his friends and with the grandpa, with his father's story
Oh,
and the struggle there, but trying to having to move because of the thefts that are occurring. And
yeah,
so
thank you.
everything just weaves in and joins together so nicely. I was
Hmm.
very impressed, and I am so glad to read it. And I hope that you'll do something else with Click. Do you have any intentions of doing that, or?
You know, I've been visiting a lot of schools, talking to
Mhm.
kids, which is so much fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. And at every school, I'm asked if I'm going to write a sequel, and I just tell them I will write a sequel if I get a great idea. And these kids have come up with some pretty great ideas. They are full of imagination and suggestions for me. So I don't know. I'm working on a couple other projects right now that I'd like to wrap up first, and
That
I've
was one of my
started
questions. So
making.
what are you working on?
Yeah, I'm working on one. It's with a girl protagonist, 12 years old, who's just super, super talented in singing and acting. She, there's a family mystery going on. Her parents all of a sudden stop all of her public appearances, and a friend decides that they're going to do an undercover podcast, YouTube kind of video. And that actually gets them into a lot of trouble because her parents didn't tell her why they were undercover. And there was a good reason for that, to be undercover. And she
Okay.
blew the cover. And so it's a mystery adventure and has it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, dealing with a lot of consequences for our decisions. So,
Yeah, yeah. But those parents should have told her more.
well, yeah, I'm trying to protect her, I'm sure, as they would.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time. You have a lot of these awards. The what is the Battle of the Books?
Oh, that's
So,
been the greatest gift to me this past year. The Oregon Battle of the Books is an annual competition, friendly competition where um, librarians and teachers choose 16 books in middle grade, well, third through fifth grade, middle school, and high school. So mine was in the third through fifth grade category, 16 books, and children in schools all around Oregon read these books over and over and over again. And then they go into competitions to see who read the most carefully. And some of the questions are very, very hard to answer. I've gone to several competitions and I've heard my own questions come up, and honestly, a couple of them I could not answer. You know, there are two horses in my rescue on the top of Black Butte Mountain, and on one horse I have two passengers, on one horse three passengers. I don't, and I do remember the names of those horses, but I don't remember which one had the three passengers. And that
they're
was
asking you questions like that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But the kids they're just so smart and they know so many of these details. And it's a competition that encourages kids to read a lot of different books that they might not have picked up. There are graphic novels, there are historic novels, there's sci-fi, there's mystery, there's books in verse, historical fiction. So teachers and parents like it because it encourages kids to read many different kinds of books. So it's been very fun. And because I'm a local author here in Oregon, I've been invited to speak at many schools, as I mentioned, and
Great.
it's just been very fun to do that. And the state finals are in April. And then all the Oregon kids will go on and read a new list of books that's already been released. And
Okay.
so another year will begin. But
Yeah.
this may be the only time in my life my book is on the same list with Gary Paulson and Lois Lowry and Lemony Snicket and just amazing authors. And so it's been really fun.
Well, I think you're just as good, if not better, than those
Oh,
authors.
thank you. Thank you.
Um, when you were thinking of Click and you're thinking of the story, and of course, tying in the setting to what you're familiar with, uh, how
Yeah.
did the story involve to where it included the father's issues with his work? Did you mean to go that different and bring all those things together, or was it all going to be about Click to begin with?
hmm It was always going to be about Nick,
Yeah.
who's misunderstood by his parents, who's fallen out with his old friends. He's having a sort of a crisis. And that's where I wanted to see him develop as a character. That's also a lot where the superheroes come in because as I dug more into the history of superheroes, Superman really was the first superhero back in 1938. Most superheroes were created by Jewish immigrants who were having their own identity crisis back in those days, having trouble finding jobs and housing. And so superheroes all had a secret name and hid their identity. And so Nick really identifies with these superheroes. But I also had to have a thread that would be something that Nick had to really work for. And as he worked for saving his dad's job, he also had to test who he was and realize that friends in his life are really important and that he needed them and he could be a good friend to them also. So Dad losing his job was a device for me to put Nick into a situation that would test who he is and give him something that would really test his capabilities.
I
And
felt like you did that with the roof um, scene and with the two girls and was it Mountain Lion? It's been a while
yes,
since I've read it.
yes,
Just all of those things just kept showing that he had what it takes to me
yeah.
to do this, and it was more about him believing in himself or him accepting that someone else could believe that about him.
Mhm. I received just a very interesting fan letter from a little girl. She said she feels a lot of anxiety like Nick feels, but she noticed when he became just like Click and became an undercover superhero, he could be more courageous as he acted out a different kind of role. And I hadn't even thought of that when I wrote the story, and it just thought how wonderful this child could see something in my story that I didn't realize I had even put in there. And I thought she was very brilliant to see that.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing when someone pulls something you didn't intend to be there, but it's
Yeah,
there nonetheless.
yes. I'm sure
Um,
you've seen that with your own
oh
writing
yeah, and I
too.
love hearing those kinds of things. I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to go meet with a book club in Johnson City, Tennessee, where
Oh,
they've all read the
good.
book and then they're going to be asking at the very end asking me questions for that too.
Mhm.
In the comic strips that go on, there is the man
Yeah.
with the hat. Who does he represent, and
Yeah, his
how does that
comic
work
book,
in?
yeah, his comic book name is Inspector. And then there's Click, who is the undercover superhero. You know, Nick, my protagonist, and his great gramp created this comic book, The Adventures of Click. And Inspector has always been, in my mind, the great gramp figure. And great gramp sadly dies before my story begins, but great gramp always believed in Nick and understood him. And when Great Grant passed away, Nick lost that foundation that he had been um, clinging to and finding stability in. So that was a big loss he has to overcome also. But so
And
it's
yet,
his great Gramp.
that yeah, I'm saying yet that voice is still there to battle his
Yeah,
doubts and his fears. And
yeah.
so about the area, because I've never been there, but it seems like a very beautiful area and region of the world. Oregon, you're just south or outside of Portland, but did you grow up in there that where this takes
I,
place?
I grew up in the Portland area, but my in-laws built a house at Black Butte Ranch, which is about a 2.5 hour drive southeast of Portland. It's across the Cascade Mountains, kind of in the we call it high desert area. So a lot of pine forests and a lot of sunshine. Western Oregon on the west side of the Cascades has a lot of rain and cloudy days, but it's very green there and beautiful. But we come to Central Oregon to find more sunshine. And so our family's been coming here for over 45 years and enjoying vacations here. And I've always thought Black Butte Ranch would be a great place to have be a setting for a story and have a boy having adventures here. So I,
Mine are set in Nashville, and so people that are familiar with the city love
mhm.
reading it just because they identify. Do you have people that same thing with people from there?
Yes, yes, it's been really fun. It's fun to, I've gone to the local schools here in outside of Black Butte and I get letters from parents on my website just saying they just love reading about the local area. One little girl did a book report on Just Like Click, and her family has a vacation home here also. And they drove around and they took pictures of all of the sites in my story. And they even found a black pickup truck, and there was somebody sitting in it, but they were brave enough to take a picture of it in front of a house. And so people have enjoyed having a story that's set in their local setting. It doesn't happen to us very often. Um,
No, it doesn't, but it's really special when it does.
yeah.
Now, I faced a little bit of a pressure because mine are every 6 months. My series, my books are coming out, and so
Oh,
but
wow.
you've got a whole different kind of pressure in the way I see it is all the awards. Does that
Oh.
hinder you when you're writing the next thing, or can you put that aside and the pressure to
I,
be
yeah, it has not been any pressure at all.
okay?
I think awards have just been a gift for this book, and I think another book will find its own way in the world. So,
That's a wonderful perspective. Now, if you were just to summarize, not just the back summary here, but summarize the story and tell uh, my two grandsons, one's in fifth and one's in second grade, why they
yeah,
should read this book, what would you
yeah,
say?
I'd say just like Click is the story about an 11-year-old boy, Nick, who lives at Black Butte Ranch with his mom and dad. His great grandpa's passed away, so he's lost a very important person in his life. And then dad comes home and says he's losing his job and they're going to have to move away. And Nick will do whatever it takes to stop this move. And what he decides to do is to step off the comic book pages that he created with his great grandp and become just like Click, the undercover superhero, and do what it takes to stop the move. He has one big problem. He has no superpowers, but he's brave and courageous and willing to try new things. So the adventures begin, and he tries as hard as he can to stop the move.
And one last question for you. How did you
Yeah.
create the kind of the dichotomy of the two girls?
Yeah, I had fun creating Celia and JC, and um I of course wanted them to be very distinct, but they also had different roles in the story. Celia really was the one who pushed Nick to um, be more than he thought he could be. She was ready to be on board. And at first, he didn't want any part of her help. He wanted to go solo, like undercover superheroes always work alone. But he realized that for some of these tasks, especially saving Lily on the top of Black Butte, he needed her help. And then he discovered she had a twin sister, JC, who is really everything his heart needed, someone who was calm and spoke the wisdom that he missed, that his great grandp used to speak to him, that encouraged him to be a superhero, and that was a legitimate job, and be proud of who you are. And so both girls worked together to help Nick become who he needed to be.
As I said before, great story. How can people find the book, and how can they connect with you if they want to?
Yeah, thank you. My book it is available in some bookstores in Oregon, but online it's available almost anywhere books are sold. Just can look for Just Like Click by Sandy Grubb. And my website is sandygrubb.com. And I do have book links on that website. And I have a contact page where they could send me a note and I will answer. So,
Well, thank you very much for your time. I want to let you go, and I appreciate the time zone changes that you worked out with me.
oh,
And this will be coming out in little snippets on my Facebook and website, and it'll be
okay.
eventually on my YouTube channel that's just getting started as a
Yeah.
whole. So once someone wants to see the whole interview intact, they can do that as well.
Well, I'm honored to be one of your very early interviews. Thank you for thinking of me. I really enjoyed talking with you today. So,
All right. May God bless you.
and you too.
All
Take
right. Bye bye.
care. Bye-bye.